border, but I didn't take the border. Instead, I got some bubble gum.
You got some Hubba Bubba Max?
I know, I got Bazooka bubble gum. That was the Bazooka bubble gum. I don't remember if Hubba Bubba had a jingle.
Yeah, they went Hubba Bubba Max. Hubba Gonna Bubba. That's what they do. They go Hubba Gonna Bubba.
Hubba Bubba.
Yeah, Hubba Bubba.
Yeah, they go.
Yeah, they would go. They would. For some reason, they would always do a cartel beheading at the end of their commercials.
It skyrocketed sales.
It really did, and it was really cool. Welcome to Otherworldly Podcast.
Bravo, brilliant.
Where we talk about Hubba Bubba Max, the Hubba kind of bubble, and a various assortment of crimes. But speaking of criminals and crimes, we have a guest here today.
Hello, I'm the biggest criminal, according to several people, including the state of Idaho. I'm Elfyelfears.
You're Elfyelfears. You're our editor.
I'm Elfie. Yeah, I'm the I'm the editor of the Otherworldly podcast, and a very dear friend to Atlas and Plague here. And I do too much.
You do. You do a lot. I do a lot on a daily basis as well.
Yeah.
Plague's just kind of he's easy going. Everything's fine for him.
He drifts around and he's just like, what mischief shall I cause today? I know, I will torment my friends.
Yeah, and the mischief I wanted for today was to go to your homeland up into the Everglades swamps of Florida and look deep into the folklore there and touch in on a subject that you actually hold very near and dear to your heart.
Absolutely. Being a fae demon from Florida, I love swamps and everything. I live near a nature park, so I've pretty much grown up here, and just the swamps and the beaches and everything. It's just I can't imagine living in a place that doesn't have these things. So I love the supernatural and everything. So getting the chance to talk about some of the things that stemmed from my home is just, it's really, really, really exciting, because there's some that I didn't even know about while I was even doing a deep dive, because I knew of some, I just didn't know every single one. And I've gotten, I have several here.
More than several. Well, really quickly, there is a debate about it. What is a couple, a few, what is like the number iterations when you hear the word several? Do you actually mean the word 7? Because a bunch of people mean 3 when you say several, but I say that's a few.
Yeah, some people think, so for me, it varies. If it's more, my brain registers several as more than 5.
See, several to me means 3 to 4, because 3 plus 4 equals 7. So usually when people say several, they mean like 3 or 4, but I always say a few. A few means 3, because a couple is 2. Because if you're, you have a significant other, you're a couple, so you're 2.
Yeah, like now so in the case of this, I actually have 6 things written down here.
You have 6 fucking things written down. You showed me the list. Wasn't it 5? You had 5 originally. What did you do?
The 6th one.
It became the 6th one.
Yeah, I'm the 6th one. Yeah, it's true. I was captured in the middle of the night, roaming the swamps, looking for dinner out in the nude, and I got caught with my butt cheeks out, and they noticed my tramp stamp, and I was put in the local newspaper.
That's pretty cool.
People were making fun of the fact that I said my tramp stamp says "I heart toast."
That is, as long as it's something you enjoy, really, I don't really mind what it is.
I did want to go by toast for a brief period, and then I'm like, no, I love Elfie too much.
I think I remember that.
Yeah,
I think you were gonna rebrand yourself as Toast, and I was just like, why though? It was a weird one.
It's the non-binary urge to name yourself some random object. There's always got to be some non-binary person out there named Sock.
My name is Yogurt.
Pebble. Yeah, your name Yogurt?
Yeah, Yogurt.
So the 6th thing, it is a book. It is a book specifically.
Oh. So wait, you say it's a book. Is it a book about it, or is it the...
It is a book of several cryptids from the state of Florida.
Because I was about to say, what do you mean that it's a book? I was like, is there a cryptid that is a book like it is a mimic?
Oh Oh man, if only.
That's,
People from Florida don't read. We don't read.
That's true, and I'm willing to believe it.
But it is a book by
I already
Scott.
do.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is a book by Scott C. Marlowe that features a number of cryptid within its pages that all reside in Florida or have tales from the Sunshine State. And it features many cryptids and creatures that many may be familiar with, including things that I will be talking about, such as the sea devil, the muck monster, the wampus cat, and other cryptids that have been spotted or talked about in the state of Florida, like El Chupacabra and the Pensacola sea monster, Hog Kong, things like that.
When you gave me your list, I was like, how fucking... You left me with, like, nothing to look at.
I left you with nothing.
You left me with fucking nothing.
This is my episode now.
This is your episode. Well, I got two. Well, I actually have two. I found two that you did not have on your list.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You want to hear them? They're very short. They're very short.
You want to go first? Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
They're actually very short, and I have some little things here, and I have one that's actually what I felt like should actually be in Florida, but it wasn't, and I tried to look it up to see if there was like an iteration of it, and I saved that one for the last year, but I got three of them, and one is the Mahamba.
Okay, I have no idea what the fuck just came out of your mouth.
The Mahamba. The Mahamba.
Mahamba.
Yeah.
It sounds like it could be a snake.
Pretty close, actually.
Ah, yeah.
Pretty close. Instead, no, the Mahamba is also known as a giant crocodile.
Oh,
it's a croc, but it is twice the size and more deadly, while the crocodile can grow up to 20 feet. The Mahamba is more around 50 to 60 feet and is known to actively eat and hunt humans because they have an acquired taste for human flesh and blood. The Mahamba is, in my opinion, very much be a factual creature, as there still are some of those like monstrous river monsters out there, like hearing about like huge pythons and shit like out in the Everglades, or hearing about how there's just like a catfish that's like, you know, like 20 feet in length and is like just as thick. But I have like a little kind of historic reading piece, and I'm going to read it here for you. It says, on a low sand spit, projecting beyond the grasses, may sometimes be seen as monstrous crocodiles, perhaps upwards to 50 feet long. At any rate, I have seen several considerably longer than a little AIA, and an AIA, because this was written back in like the 1800s or whatever, it was a government steamer that this man by the name of Werner worked on. And this is like his entire encounter with one. It says, on one occasion, I had landed on a large sandbank to shoot ducks. Having bagged one, I was seeing the rest aligned beyond a low ridge of sand. I stooped low and crawled along this river ridge till I thought I was well within range. When I had raised my head, I saw over, and sure enough, the ducks were at least no more than 50 yards away from me. While halfway between me and those ducks, the biggest crocodile I had ever witnessed, comparing to the AIA, must have been around 50 feet or so, as the AIA he drove was around 42 feet in length. But the thing was about 300 yards away, his thing, so he couldn't get a direct comparison. But he was at least well adversed with the machine he would be piloting most of the time, and he would assume that this thing outlengthed it up to 50 feet. He said, only having that of a shotgun, I had called upon the native boy that I had with me at the time to go and fetch my rifle, and while he was doing that, I forgo foraging for observations while awaiting his return. The crocodile, in the meantime, took no notice of me, either because it was asleep or because he was out of its sight range. Crocodiles, though, as you know, are nocturnal creatures, so this was midday, so most likely this large thing was asleep. He said that the only reason he didn't shoot it or have a chance to shoot it simply was because of the rifle, but because of his desire of actually hunting these ducks as they were out of meat on the boat, and seeing the ducks take off within this moment, he absentmindedly aimed up, because he was in hunter mode, aimed up and took a snapshot at the ducks that caused the ducks to flee and the crocodile to slither back into the water, causing a massive tide of sand shooting left and right as it slunk back into the water quickly.
Oh.
And that was like his first-hand encounter with this.
Yeah, so and that's really interesting too, because while in Florida we do have crocodiles, they're not native. We don't have native crocodiles, but some have, I believe, possibly ended up in the wild, either due to people bringing in shipments, because we're full of invasive species.
Yeah,
so
there were like certain iterations of snakes, I believe, that weren't ever there. Now they're like a part.
We have boa constrictors in the wild here. We have monkeys. I didn't even know we had monkeys. People imported monkeys in like the 50s that live in like the Keys or the Everglades or something like that.
Hell
I don't remember where specifically, and they're really bad for the environment.
Awesome. I love hearing that.
Yeah, it's so, dude, you can't even buy like those like soccer ball sized snails and import them here. They're illegal.
You listened to the first episode because you edited it. Cocaine sharks. Literally, Florida is like all fucked up. What? Is all fucked up with invasive species and drugs in your water.
Yeah, it's because people think that they can release their pets when they're too big and they can't take care of them anymore. Like my IRL best friend that I have known since we were in second grade together, has owned essentially a zoo. Never once has he released any animal that he didn't rescue, but he's gone herping before. Do you know what herping is?
Yeah, I know what herping is.
All right, Plague, do you know what herping is?
No.
So I will explain. Herping is when you go out and essentially you catch invasive species, or you look specifically for reptiles and invasive species and you catch them. He went herping for a period of time, and I learned that in Tampa there is a literal pocket of an ecosystem that has chameleons, like wild chameleons, like feral chameleons. We don't have chameleons natively in this state. Somebody ordered chameleons and they released them. And it's like, what? What are you doing?
Florida is like, it's a trash heap of just animals.
Crazy. Yeah,
it's insane.
It's crazy. Quaker parrots aren't even native here. There was a shipment of them that came into the state at one point because of the exotic pet trade, and something happened with the truck. They got out, and now we have wild Quaker parrots down here. They're native to South America.
I will tell you this much. Before the United States was the United States and Native Americans were here, horses were actually not a part of the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, weren't they?
They came in from England.
Yeah, they're an English thing.
Yeah, so horses actually only exist because of, settlers.
Yeah, I think there were some native like wild horses, but they just weren't as common, or they weren't in like the same areas.
But now there's like a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I put at the bottom here, to me, out of many of the cryptids I have read about, the Mahamba is the more believable, in my opinion, for gators or crocodiles, as they have been around since prehistoric era and have little to no evolution whatsoever. They are the same as they were 2.5 million years ago.
They came out of the primordial soup looking like that, and they were like, don't need anything else. We're done.
They really said it. We're good. No more.
We're good.
We're good. Thank you. No more. So perhaps at some point there are still some of these more megalithic species, but they're an extreme rarity.
Exactly. Yeah. There was a very large gator that actually lived in the lake in the nature park near where I live. And we would spot her every so often. I don't think she's there now because they would have probably relocated her, because people feed the alligators. There have to be signs everywhere that says don't molest the alligators, and not in the way you think.
No, molesting just means unwanted touch, meaning don't pet them, don't go near them, don't jump onto their back and hold the face down.
Exactly. If you think I'm joking, no, any single Florida nature preserve you go to, you will see those signs like do not molest the alligators, or alligators present, do not molest, because people will lure the gators out, or there'll be gators sunbathing and they'll hop on them, or they'll try to feed them and do this and that, and it's like, guys, you need to leave them alone. You need to, like, gators getting so used to human contact is what gets them killed, and they don't need to be shot and killed because they're getting desensitized to people.
Yeah,
They're very dangerous.
And they want to go and be petted by somebody. So when one of these gators is actually friendly to a human, and it starts rushing up to a human because it wants to be close to them and not to actually eat them, they end up shooting them.
Exactly.
And that it's not like a dog. You know when a dog's pissed off at you. Dog will growl, dog will attack, but like I said, I have 2 more here because we can't spend too much on molesting alligators.
Of course, I'm sorry.
we can't spend a lot of time giving bad touches to gators. But the second one I have for you here, and I want to ask you, have you ever heard of the snollygoster?
Snollygoster, huh?
Snollygoster, yes.
I have not heard of the snollygoster. This is a very interesting. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. You have caught my attention.
The snollygoster is an extremely strange creature that can go from water to land, but oddly enough, the source of this creature comes from lumberjack folklore. The snollygoster has been sighted all throughout the southern United States, but resting grounds are around Lake, I don't know how to pronounce it, it's like Okeechobee or Okeechobee, Florida.
Oh, Okeechobee.
Okeechobee. Okay. That's a fun way to say it. Lake
if you show me the
Okeechobee,
name, I can
Florida.
pronounce it, yeah.
But yes, Lake
Okeechobee,
Okeechobee.
Daddy.
Okeechobee, me daddy. Florida, this strange beast is described as a crocodile-like monster, which could be mistaken as a Mahamba, but the snollygoster doesn't have any legs. Instead, moving like a snake, you'd think it would move like a snake because of the lack of legs, but actually also no. They have what is described as bone-like plates around the tail that work like a propeller, allowing it to shift and push itself forward like a fucking speedboat. The snolly. I know. Let me finish. Because this is awesome. Because I want to finish the description for you here. The snollygoster is also said to have a large spike on its back. These spikes house the corpses of many victims it will later on eat after they are impaled.
So this thing is a moving spire, a moving legless spire that has a fucking propeller. Is this just David Hasselhoff with the fucking prison on his back from the SpongeBob movie?
Yeah, it's just a. I tried to look up a lot of stories of this thing, and there weren't many. But I do have one, and it kind of summed up why there wasn't a bunch of stories for me. Okay. Which is, here's the story. It says, Mr. N.F. Eldridge was hunting a runaway slave in the swamps of Florida. He saw the slave dead and impaled on what he thought was a cypress tree, like a little skinny cypress tree. Suddenly, the tree started to walk away from Eldridge. Then, promptly, he ran away. Even when the public knew about the snollygoster, they still decided to leave it alone so that it would be a warning to all evildoers and runaway, and I'm going to, because this is what was in the book that I read, it said all runaway blacks not to hide in the swamps, meaning they were saying, hey, if you're a criminal, don't go out in the swamps. If you're a runaway slave, don't go in the swamps. And it says, although I looked up many tales of the snollygoster, I could not find any really. I believe the true horrors and the monster of the story is actually a guesstimation of mine of why the story was created to begin with, which was to frighten and scare slaves and criminals, preventing them from running away.
Sounds like one of those tales, absolutely. With
the threat of gory superstition. Sadly, this could be true for a good amount of cryptid creatures as well, and their existence to frighten those into compliance, making them agreeable to social norms. You know, like, it's the idea of war propaganda, even just like small little tales your mother would say, being like, don't go out late at night or, you know, the fucking boogeyman gets you.
No, don't go out in the swamp, the snollygoster will get you.
Don't go out there, the snollygoster will come and fucking impale you and fucking jettison away with his propeller tail like he's a cartoon.
Like, what do you think of the Snollygoster?
What do
I
you
think
think?
he's a,
Yeah,
I think
what do you
he's a
think
jolly
of?
fellow.
What do you think of this hellish speedboat?
That's what I think of it. I mean, I'm just like, what?
Yeah, it's literally
Would you?
a meat tube of an alligator with
It sounds like a
spikes on it.
Tsuchinoko. It sounds
Yeah.
like a Tsuchinoko, but like alligator size with a big old spike on its back.
Oh, absolutely. If you look him up, if you look up the picture, head of a gator, but the whole back, and it reminds me of like the picture they use for SCP, like the hard to kill lizard, where it's like covered in that hair or whatever. It's like all along the body is like this fur that goes into the reptilian tail, and you can see the bone plates at the tip of the tail, and it just looks like a rudder or like a fucking propeller on a speedboat.
Apparently, Snollygoster.
It's
from dictionary.
No, let's talk about black
It's
sausage.
it's a shrewd person.
Yeah, the way the Snollygoster is actually spelled, which I have the two examples here. Snollygoster, the monster, the only difference is the word snolly, which is, for the monster, Snolli. For Snollygoster, which is, the definition is Snolly.
Oh, I see. Okay,
And it says, for the...
Oh my god. Okay, no, now I have the picture of it.
Yeah, and so the Snollygoster, when it comes to the definition, is an unpredictable but shrewd person.
Oh my god. The propeller tail. That looks so out of place.
Oh, it is. It definitely is.
That...
You want to put it in the chat for Plague? Because I already know what this. I know what this stupid piece of shit looks like.
Yeah, here, Plague. Take a look at this. Take a look at this dumb little man.
He looks stupid as shit.
This looks like
A 5-year-old made this.
I was about to say this looks like a school project of.
Okay,
some
Billy,
student.
make up a cryptid for us here.
I
for today's
tell you,
one.
I want an alligator. I want him to move real fast, but I don't want the little legs. He got a bunch of hair like a horse, and he got a big spike on his back.
And the spike, it holds the people that he eats.
Yeah. Okay. That's stupid.
It's like, oh my
But
Questioning my my choices for a career. Okay.
this is a pretty good career to have.
No, I'm just saying as a teacher.
Yeah, as a teacher. But finally, I have a last one. This one is not Florida. This one actually comes from the folklores of Ohio. Because I saw this one, and I was actually kind of shocked about learning this one, because I swear this could have been one that should actually kind of be in Florida, which is called the Loveland Frogman.
Yeah, this sounds like it could be something from.
And it says, in Ohio folklore, the Loveland Frog, also known as the Loveland Frogman or Loveland Lizard, is a legendary humanoid frog described as standing roughly about 4 feet tall. Allegedly spotted in Loveland, Ohio in 1972, the Loveland Frog legend gained its renewed attention when Loveland police officer reported to colleagues that he had seen an animal consistent with the description of the frogman. After a report sighting in 2016, the second officer called a news station to report that he had shot and killed the same creature some weeks after the 1972 incident and had identified it as a large iguana that was missing its tail.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It was just a big iguana.
Big Ohio iguana with no tail that's 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, listen, Ohio's just another. It is.
It's
the
Florida.
Midwest. It's the Midwest Florida.
It's Florida
Yeah, it's
too.
Midwest Florida. It's another place that people are just like. I'm never gonna forget the Animaniacs bit. That's just like, are we dead or is this Ohio?
Technically true, yes.
Yeah, because when you're in Ohio, it's like a whole nother world.
It feels like a whole different place, honestly.
It really does.
I mean,
really does.
little do people know, it's a lesser known fact that Doom, the video game, was based off of Ohio.
Oh yeah. You know, like Bloodborne was actually based off of Ohio in like the 1960s.
I thought you were gonna say Dune the movie. I was gonna start going more deep.
You know that Doom guy is actually based off of an Ohioan man who went to his local Giant Eagle and just just a bunch of stuff off the shelves.
The Ohio Frogman is just a fucking actual bullywug from D&D. I kind of wish, honestly.
It really
That'd be
is.
cool. That'd be cool.
Finally, my fantasy world has come true. Elfie, you may continue with your stories. That is all
Thank
I had
you.
to share. Those were my only 3.
So I'm gonna start off with a really good one. That is one that I've heard about since I was younger. Oh, there's a siren going by. I hope that doesn't pick up too bad.
It's fine. It don't matter.
Just adds to it.
They're coming to get me. They don't want me to tell you about this. So this is one. It has a story to it, and this one is more along the possibility of it could be real, but it's more or less probably fake.
Mhm.
So it's called the Florida Sea Devil, and it is a cryptid that finds its origin in the bays of Florida's coasts. It does not specifically say where, but most likely the beaches because, of what it is. The story itself follows a man who goes out fishing at night out on one of the ocean bays, and he nearly gets dragged underwater by a monstrous-sized stingray. And while it's not covered as much as others, like skunk ape and things like that, it doesn't seem to have an origin outside of being like a work of a writer by the name of Arthur Gordon. It's a very unique cryptid, just based on the premises alone of an unnaturally large stingray, akin to a sea monster, just looking for unsuspecting fishermen to make its next meal. Because stingrays can get big, but this thing is it was huge. Because I've read the story, and I can link it to you guys at some point if you'd like, because I have it saved. This thing is described as being gigantic. This dude almost died
Good.
in the story.
Good. That's what I
literally,
want.
If I remember correctly, he got he was tangled in his own ropes for the boat and everything, and he was being dragged under and shit. It was very suspenseful. And they apparently this was something that they have some kids read for some of the state tests, and I'm just okay, all right.
I guess it's Florida's Moby Dick if you think about it.
I guess it kind of can be. I mean, we have to have something.
No, you
It's not
have
like
you
these
have too
whales.
much. You guys are crackheads.
Hey, we don't have whales. We don't
Yes.
have whales.
Yeah, because they're all full of fucking cocaine somewhere else.
Cocaine whales that are being eaten by the cocaine sharks. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
So the next one is one that is more of a local story that I ended up hearing about because I was browsing Reddit as one Redditor does, and I'm like, okay, and I'm gonna see if there's any Florida cryptids that I don't know about, and this is one. I think the name you already know the name Atlas,
Mhm.
but Plague, I think you're gonna laugh at this name.
Oh, I love this
Is is called Old Hitler.
Okay.
And so it is from Reddit user Skunk Ape Stink, which is a great name. And it says, I grew up on Tampa Bay, and there was a legend of a giant hammerhead shark that we called Old Hitler. He was said to be 17 feet long and have a 4-foot dorsal fin and frequent Egmont Key. He would show up in the summertime to eat the tarpon and other large sharks in the area. And somebody responded to that saying, I remember hearing about him as a kid. We had a fishing charter captain who went by the Shark Man, who would go to the local elementary schools and talk about sharks. He would always end his visit by talking about Old Hitler and how nobody could ever catch him because he is so strong. And I'm sitting here I never got fucking visited by the Shark Man.
You never got visited by some crazy fucking sea urchin of a fucking weird nomadic hermit of the fucking beach that would just sit there and be like,
Granted,
a few 30 kids go in the water, 13 come out. You never had that guy?
No, granted, I don't exactly live in Tampa, but I live close enough that I should have fucking gotten a
You should have got your old Hitler tail. You should have gotten your old Hitler
got my
tail.
old freaking Hitler tail, man, but I didn't. But I thought it was just funny because of all the names, Old Hitler.
Why does it tell you why he's called Old Hitler?
No.
That somebody just
No.
named that shark Old
And
Hitler.
On top of that, the fact that it's a hammerhead shark is also interesting because you don't really see hammerhead sharks. I could be completely wrong.
They're usually
I've
actually kind of nicer sharks out of most.
Yeah, you'll see I think nurse sharks more than anything out here, and of course stingrays. I've been to the beach as well. It's stingray mating season. Oh my god, it is crazy seeing just all these stingrays just right against the shoreline, just going down with the waves. It's truly a sight. And obviously people have caught sharks before, and I've gone down to docks and I've seen people reeling in like baby sharks and everything, which you gotta release them.
Yeah.
But I've never seen like a hammerhead shark. I'm down here before, but what do I know? It's not like I go out into the ocean waters every single day.
Looks like we're gonna have our second hunt for old Hitler.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to see.
Exactly.
We're gonna come down to Florida just only to see if I can see old Hitler.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, little do you guys know, Otherworldly is going to eventually become essentially a. It's gonna have its own iteration of like Ghost Adventures, but it's gonna call it Otherworldly Adventures, and it's gonna be live action. It's gonna have cameras and everything, and these two are gonna go out onto like the waters and swamps and shit, and they're gonna be like, as we stood here, we heard something that sounded like a man saying, "Get off my property."
When did we become that one dude, number 15?
Chills.
Chills. I was kind of thinking
No,
more like
no,
wild.
I was
gonna
doing
say.
Zach Bagans.
I was gonna say.
I was doing Zach Bagans.
I was gonna say more of for us. We're kind of our iteration is less Ghost Adventures like, and more. I would say probably like Wild Boys, where we try to like fucking wrestle Bigfoot and get bitten by him.
You would
and
love. You would love. Have you seen Call of the Wild Man on Animal Planet?
Call of the Wild.
You would
Man?
love this guy. Oh my god, I was obsessed with him when I was younger. I still love him. He's great. But we'll talk about him in a later point. So this next one, I'm gonna send you guys the name, and I'm gonna ask you to see if you can pronounce this name. It is a native name.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Vaco Capco?
Repeat it.
Vaco Capco?
Close. So it is pronounced Hutchko Chopko.
Hutchko Chopko.
Mm-hmm.
It has a
Hutchko Chopko.
HV.
And the name.
I'll spell it out for the audience that don't get to see it. It is HVCKO space CAPCO.
Mm-hmm. And the name translates to long ears. It is also known as Hutchko Chopko, and it is a mythical beast of the Seminole people from Florida and Oklahoma. And I was interested
Do they have
in
brain
this
damage when they fucking name this one, or?
Well,
I mean, it sounds like you're telling your buddy Hutch to go chop some wood. Hutch go Chopco.
Yeah, it does. But I was interested in this, if I can talk, because I've also been to Seminole, Florida, and obviously there is a like local sports team called the Seminoles and everything like that. There's a lot of like influence of Native Americans in the state. So I'm like, okay, I haven't heard about this guy either. So it is a mythical beast that has been reported to be wolf-like, that is the size of a horse, with a horse-like tail, long ears, and big eyes. Natives claim that the creatures smell terrible, and it can cause diseases to anyone that comes in contact with or touches. Sightings of the creature are extremely rare, with the last one dating from 1951. In Calumet, Oklahoma, 1951, Miss Lawrence Laub encountered what she described as a creature that looked like a cross between a wolf and a deer. Michael Newton's Encyclopedia of Cryptozoology mentions a similar wolf deer sighted in Wisconsin. And Neil Arnold's book, Monster, includes a maddeningly brief reference to the Hutchko Chopko, which is a deer-like creature from Seminole mythology, size of a horse, wolf-like head, which seems to match the reports. And it's just, I thought, because you don't really see wolf cryptids.
No,
so I'm
no,
like,
you don't. I was gonna bring up. There was one in, for Florida, but it was kind of like a love story more than anything, and it was called the Coyote Woman.
oh, it might also go into the next one I'm gonna bring up as well. If you know what if you remember reading about the Coyote Woman, I am very interested in hearing that though.
It had to do with Native Americans and a burial site where they had these spires or pillars that kind of worked like the tombstones in the area. Instead of having individually marked graves, there would be people buried near this spire that held all the names on it. And they got like, when like these natives got wiped out and the area was being cleared out, the only stone that remained was like this one. and I can't fully remember the story. I have to like look really deeply into it because apparently it's a very like oddly like somber but beautiful story. I like
it's lit.
I heard
Yeah,
about.
like that. It is really nice. It's like it's almost like what you're describing is almost like a wooden sepulcher almost, which is
Yeah.
kind of like almost like a grave marking, but it's
That's essentially
like for
what it
multiple
is.
people.
It was just like
Yeah.
this long kind of like spire, and they couldn't even read anything on it anymore because it was so faded.
Mm-hmm. A test of time, truly. But that it kind of reminds me of the Wampus Cat, which is the next one that I have here. And I know the name sounds a little silly because I thought, oh, this sounds
This
a little
Doctor
goofy. What is
this
this?
Dr. Seuss ass
This,
fucking
this
thing.
Dr. Seuss Wampus Cat.
Wampus cat, Mompus cat. Give it tell.
Where
give
have
me,
you Gompus Cat?
Where have you Gompus cat? Womping around, catting about.
On the bathroom mat. Womping around on the bathroom mat. So it is a cryptid, another Native American cryptid. It is from like Native and Appalachian folklore, and it's a cryptid that has two origin stories and kind of varying appearances. One story in Cherokee folklore describes the story of a woman who wanted to defeat the evil spirit Ewa, who is known as the spirit of madness. She defeats the spirit while equipped with the spirit of a mountain cat and becomes the tribe's spirit talker and guardian. But another story describes it as a punishment for a woman who had spied on a sacred ceremony while hiding beneath the pelt of a mountain lion. Similarly, in Appalachia, the legend of the Wampus Cat is described as the cat-like embodiment of a woman who was cursed and punished for her disobedience or involvement in witchcraft. Eyewitnesses have multiple different claims for its appearance, ranging from a cross between a cat and a human with elongated claws and fangs to a creature that has 6 legs and is more of a half-cat, half-dog hybrid. Sightings of the cryptid have been sporadic and usually only happen deep within forests or remote areas. And with some of the artist depictions, they kind of depict it almost like a cat centaur woman, which I think is fucking awesome. That's a cool ass cryptid design if that's what people have seen. But I think the story of the Wampus Cat, the name of it doesn't do it justice because it's so much more interesting because it's like, oh, it's this woman that defeated an evil spirit and while having the help of a spirit, and then it kind of became like fused with the spirit. Like, what's going on here? I thought it was really interesting.
You just liked it because
so.
it sounded like JoJo. Get out of here.
It does, yeah. I listen, man. A lot of Native American stuff I just don't know about because I'm white as fuck. So I think a lot of
I'm
like,
whiter than
folklore-
you, and I'm Native American in a way.
yeah, you're
Funny.
like 1/10 Native American, 1/10 cheese. You know?
Yeah.
80%
Stardust.
Exactly. Now the last one I have here is called the Muck Monster. And I could have done like some other ones like Hog Kong and stuff like that, but we've already covered the big animals because that's what Hog Kong is.
I saw
it's just a
Hong Kong
giant
and I
pig.
said pig or big crocodile. And honestly, I like Godzilla a bit more than anything.
Yeah, it's just a big pig, and I already did the Sea Devil, but the Muck Monster. It goes that tall tales have been a part of the Florida landscape for centuries, but none are as frightening and as mysterious as the Muck Monster. Reports from local residents describe this creature as being akin to a combination of a xenomorph from Alien and an alligator standing over 20 feet tall and shrouded in a dark-colored muck. Legend claims that it lurks in the swampy depths of Lake Okeechobee, living alongside its alligator brethren, but never seen by human eyes. Numerous research parties have combed the lake bed looking for evidence of its existence, but nothing has ever been found aside from the occasional disappearance of one unfortunate fisherman or another. So we have another cryptid here from Okeechobee.
Yeah.
It's just a giant. First of all, 20 feet tall. That's fucking huge.
It could.
And it looks like a xenomorph
Yeah.
from
It's an
Aliens.
alligator.
It's an alligator that looks like a xenomorph from the movie Aliens, and it stands 20 feet fucking tall, and it's in Lake Okeechobee. Maybe that's why we don't hear that much about the Snollygoster. Maybe he got fucking ripped apart
He
by.
got murked by the Muck Monster.
He got killed by the Muck
Yeah.
Monster. Fucking ate him. Fucking whooped his ass.
The muck monster went up to the Okeechobee and was like, "Would you like a Pop-Tart?"
Yeah, would you like a Pop-Tart? Kills him.
Would you like a Pop-Tart? And
Strangled
he
him.
just picked him up and ate him like a little sausage, you know?
Yeah, a little snollygoster sausage, a little sausage.
Yeah. Just the idea alone, though, that a cryptid is just 20 feet tall, and just the fact that people are describing it as looking like a fucking xenomorph is just...
I kind of like that, though, that people would...
Yeah, that's such a crazy appearance. And it's like, it's hard to mistake that for something else, because obviously people know what a xenomorph looks like.
All I think is just a giant skeletal monster standing in the fucking... And it's 20 feet tall, so...
Yeah, and it's like a mix between that and an alligator, and it's like, so it's got a big-ass snout, it's got big-ass scales, it's almost like... It's like scaly and it's emaciated looking, and it's like standing on its hind legs. It's like, what
It's a death
fuck
claw.
are you looking?
Yeah, you're right. It is.
That's just a fucking death claw from the Fallout series. That's all it is. That's what they saw. They saw a big stupid fucking lizard that was hanging out in the Lake Okeechobee, fucking chewing on a sausage. He was holding a little snollygoster by his little spike on his back like he was a corn dog and was fucking eating him.
Like he was a little
snolly sausage.
Yeah, a sausage.
Yeah, like he was just a little cocktail weenie.
Yeah, he was just fucking getting eaten alive. It was pretty cool.
Those are the creatures that I have.
I honestly thought you would go with the skunk ape, but the skunk ape, I understand that a lot of people.
That's very common.
Yeah, that one's very
This is a little
very
easy
big
to talk about. It's just the thing with the skunk ape is that it is Florida's iteration of a Bigfoot, but why it's called the skunk ape is because of the fact that because it roams the Everglades, specifically the Everglades, and the swamps there. Over time, it has just become what's the word I'm looking for? Permeates this just putrid odor.
Yeah, it's decay.
Where like just pure stink.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's called the skunk ape, because it just smells like absolute ass.
I thought it was because I swear I read somewheres about the skunk ape. It could have been the Ohio grassman. It could have been about Sasquatch or Bigfoot. But each time I read about them, I think it was the skunk ape. They said the smell that the person said that they took in the aroma. They said that it was the equivalency of schmegma.
Oh.
Mm.
I've never had the displeasure of smelling smegma, and I would prefer to keep it that way.
Putrid skunk ape dick cheese.
Yeah, especially after hearing the story of this older man who literally had like stones in his foreskin.
Ow.
After like 30 years, him and his wife had like not done it or anything, and he went to the doctor and they just pull out this putrid stone, and it's like, sir, this is smegma. Do you not clean your dick?
He's like, no, I don't want to. I would never touch a dick. That's gay.
But I'm like, I would prefer to never be near that.
That's
So,
pretty fucking awesome. Good for him.
No, I encourage you, literally look it up after this.
I don't wanna. I don't wanna
I
hear a
really
story
don't
about a man who made his own ore.
I don't like the energy that we're creating on this podcast right now.
I love this energy. I love this energy.
That's Plague. You were very invested in listening. So which of the cryptids and creatures that I listed, which one caught your interest the most? Which one did you?
Sausage boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you like the fucking snollygoster.
The snollygoster. Yeah, I mean, come on.
It's a good one. That one I didn't even hear of, and I'm just like, it's just a worm gator.
Yeah, it's just a worm gator.
A little worm gator.
I'm glad I could find actually two that you didn't know of.
Yeah, because while I've lived in Florida pretty much my whole life, my whole little life, I don't know everything that goes on here. I only know of a good little chunk,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know everything that goes on here. Like the furthest place and the most unique place I say that I've gone to is like Honeymoon Island, and Honeymoon Island is gorgeous, but
What is
like,
Honeymoon Island? Is it just where people, like married couples, go to, like, it's their retreat? Is it most known
so
for that?
you could go there for that, but it's one of the nature parks down here, and
Mm-hmm.
it's gorgeous. You have to pay to get in. It's a wildlife preserve beach that it's kind of like a private little beach, and you go in, you pay to get in, and you park, and there's like little islands off the coast and everything. It's really beautiful. It's hard to describe, but it almost the sand is super soft because of the area being around Dunedin. It has like the sugar sand, which is like around like Clearwater and Dunedin, that sort of thing. And it's just really soft sand, and that the area is known for. So it's just a really soft, beautiful beach that you can swim to and kayak to these other little islands, and just walk around, taking the sights. My buddy and I, a couple of years ago, he first took me, and we got a bunch of geodes that I still have that I never cracked open because the beach
you gotta
produces
bust them open with
geodes.
your fucking knee. Give a little elbow drop on them.
I do. I'm very curious to see if we actually did find geodes because they show the signs of being geodes, and he's found geodes there, but I've never popped them open. But it's a very beautiful place. But there's lots of little pockets like that in Florida. But I do know that most things that I know are like central South Florida. I don't think I've ever heard of anything crazy from North Florida, other than the fact that it actually snowed one year.
You would think that, like, in the Panhandle, there might be some weird stuff.
Yeah.
There might be.
But like around the Keys, probably. But I know that's where those monkeys are. Those fucking weird ass monkeys.
What kind of monkeys are they? Do you know?
They're some sort of Asian monkey. They're like an Asian, like, long-tailed monkey, and they hang out in the trees, in the cypress trees and the mangroves, and you can see them when you go on boat rides down there. But that's all. I literally learned about this like within the last week. I'm like, what the fuck? We have monkeys too? I was just so caught off guard. There's a lot of crazy shit that goes on around here, and that's just because people release animals.
Yeah.
Or they raise these big ass animals and they let them go.
Well, we have 10 minutes. We got through everything. We have 10 minutes. We could honestly call it here, but there was one thing I wanted to bring up. Because I feel like I want to really bring this up. And it's nothing to do with cryptids. Are you ready for your first, like, true crime story?
Yeah, give it to me. I love true
And this
crime.
isn't just true crime. This isn't just
absolute crime.
This is just of the absurdity of the strange and the occult.
Ooh. Ooh.
You ready for this
very
one? Because
curious.
this one is fucking juicy.
Oh man, I love me some crazy stories down here. Go for it.
This is in Queensland, New York. Like the Queen. This is
okay.
in Queens, New York City. Discovery of several animal carcasses reportedly used in religious rituals has stirred concern in Queens, New York City over the past month. At least 9 wounded animals or the remains have been found in Spring Creek Park, Howard Beach, and Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge in Board Channel. These areas are now being referred to as sacrifice shores.
Oh fuck.
Okay.
Horrifying. Okay.
According to the New York Post, amongst the gruesome discoveries are there are near-dead baby rats, a freshly decapitated chicken, dead dogs with their necks snapped, a living hen in distress, 5 pigs with partially severed ears. Religious practices in the Jamaica Bay have long been of a spiritual site for the I don't even know how to it's like Guyanese religious community and Indo-Caribbean communities living in the nearby neighborhoods. Both reoccur and are a local religious leader believe the recent animal sacrifices are tied to a set of devotees who have been practicing animal sacrifices in the Jamaica Bay area for several years now.
Okay,
So
yeah.
there is a rise recently, and this was on the 7th, of September, this month,
Oh my God.
literally a week ago, that this was reported on, that there are now an increase of animal sacrifices in this area, so much so they are now calling it Sacrifice Shores.
Interesting.
Yeah,
And
that's
right
really
now,
crazy.
no real leads other than looking more into the Jamaica Bay area, where Indo-Caribbean communities that have done this for years, who are devoted to practicing this form of ritual, are now being looked at. But that's all we have about this story, and I really wanted to bring it up.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's absolutely crazy. Like, I'm sorry, when you brought up the sacrifice thing, it just reminded me of I think her name was Azalea Banks. Like, she's like a famous singer, and she was apparently sacrificing chickens, and people were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
It just
Hell
reminded me of
yeah.
that.
Did she eat a chicken?
I don't know. I just know
'Cause
that
that-
she was decapitating
'cause-
chickens, and she's like, "I gotta clean my sacrifice room, clean it with me, y'all." And I'm just like, and we were just like, "What?"
See, it's only okay to me if they eat the chicken. Because you're going to cut the
Yeah.
head off anyways. You might as well do your sacrificial thingy, but you better eat the chicken after.
Yeah, I don't understand people who just go out and they kill animals just to kill them, or even just for only a religious purpose. Hunting should be like, if you are a religious person, I feel like if, hunting is like, and like sacrificing animals is part of your religion, you should be using every part of the animal, like not just like you should be using the fur, the skin, like
That's also the thing.
bones,
It's not
everything.
even about religion at that point. It's not like how Native Americans did it. They just did it because that was a part of their, not only just ceremony, but it was essentially the whole part of life. It wasn't fully just religious or spiritual. It was actually being attuned to nature itself, and to know that you shouldn't be killing these animals to kill them. You shouldn't be wasting things either. When
Exactly.
you have them, the bones can be made of something, the skin can be made of something.
Yeah.
It allows people. It's responsible.
Yeah,
That's what it
like,
is.
Yeah, it's being yeah.
Yeah, you have to be resourceful. Otherwise, you are just fucking up an ecosystem and you're not giving back to anything.
Yeah, absolutely. God, this has been a wild one, huh?
Yeah, we talked about quite a lot.
We talked about
Did-
cryptids. We got
Had a
animal
lot of stuff.
sacrifices at the end there. That was pretty funny.
So I have a question. I don't know if you looked more into it, and this is actually going to a callback to a story from episode 1.
Yeah.
What was it, Nebraska or Nevada or whatever it was?
The guy with the girl.
Yes. Has there been any more? Has there been any more about that?
I have not seen anything about that particular story at the moment. Other than probably the court stuff, I've been very busy, but I do know for a fact I have the listing here. I can actually pull it up to see if there was actually any new sightings. There was one thing I don't think we talked about last time that I wanted to talk about, and that was Britain's Bill Gates had died, essentially. He was like 59, and like his yacht sank. He like fucking died on a yacht. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to me, at least. I was like, that's interesting.
It's just the second coming of the Titanic, dude.
In a way, I mean, the Titanic is still killing people to this day. Remember when those guys went down there with the fucking
Oh yeah, the Ocean
stuff?
Gate people.
The Ocean
Yeah,
Gate
you know-
people,
you know
and they got
they-
fucking, they turned into soup.
Yeah, do you know they made a spacecraft and they sent people to space, and now those astronauts are trapped?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I know those guys.
Why didn't you learn the first time?
Yeah.
Huh?
I wasn't there.
I wonder if they're using the same Smansmung controller.
Oh yeah, they used the little Smansman controller. Yeah, the little
Samsung
place,
controller.
the little controller that they used that was practically just a PS2 controller. You know?
Hey, you know what? You know what? At least it's not
A
Nintendo's.
It was a Mad Catz controller. It
Yeah,
never worked.
He had it had Mad Cat. That's awesome.
At least it wasn't a Nintendo Switch controller. It wasn't like a pair of Joy-Cons or anything. That would have broken instantly.
I would have.
As somebody who
I would have
owns a
loved if it
Nintendo
was
Switch.
that.
It's like, yeah, we're using a pair of Switch Joy-Cons to control it for the utmost accuracy. It's like, you do know that Joy-Cons drift like right away, right? Like I had to buy bootleg Joy-Cons for my Switch like within the year that I had it, which is insane to me. Because I've never had to buy a secondary PlayStation controller for my PS4. I have never had to do that.
Yeah, I was wondering about that dude. And
Yeah,
if they found that girl or anything.
So curious to hear an update on that story. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's no real update at the moment about it. I'm still waiting for a little more about it myself. I have it here, but yeah, it looks like there haven't been very many
Mhm.
Okay.
things
So-
about it.
No, I know we're nearing the end here. We're pretty much we're almost out of time. I do have one silly crime story.
You want to
I
talk
can
about
share
your?
it?
You want to share your little silly crime story?
Yeah, it's quite funny because I had a couple prepared, but we did do a little bit of yapping and a little bit of tomfoolery.
No, it's fine. We're supposed to do yapping and tomfoolery.
That's true. So this one, I thought you guys would laugh at this. These aren't super like crazy crime stories. They're
Yeah.
just silly. Because I'm like, you can't do a Florida episode without like some Florida man shit. So this is from Miami Springs. Man jailed for impersonating Miami Springs pizzeria, delivering disgusting pies, police say. A 55-year-old man is facing a felony charge in South Florida for a bizarre impersonation scheme that left pizza customers getting a raw deal, authorities said. Police said he ran an elaborate scheme to defraud tourists staying in the hotels of Miami Springs by pretending to be a well-known pizza parlor. According to police, customers who thought they were ordering pies from Roman's Pizzeria, located at 391 and Royal Poinciana Boulevard, or Poinciana Boulevard, were instead getting subpar slices from Jose Marty Alvarez. Marty Alvarez, quote, distributed fake pizza flyers to hotel rooms along Northwest 36th Street near Miami International Airport, advertising Roman Pizzeria, misleading visitors. Jesus Roman, who is a proprietor of the real Roman's Pizzeria, who's been cooking up pies for 4 decades, said Marty Alvarez's pizzas were bad, uncooked, and sometimes they were sent in a box with a piece of raw dough.
That's awesome.
Apparently, the
I'm
police said
guessing
had
meth.
no, just raw pizza dough.
No, I mean he was probably on meth.
Yeah.
Maybe he's on meth. I don't know.
Product of meth.
But police said the fraud had been going on for several years and had caused significant hardships for the real Romans, including complaints to the Better Business Bureau, negative reviews, and upset customers. So this dude he's just been like having these fake posters and everything,
Yeah.
and delivering fake, awful, subpar pizza for what? For what? Like, what is the whole point of that? I'm like, this is, and you've been doing this for like several years?
Hell yeah, I would hope he would. Talent,
it's like-
experience, fucking the
Talent,
gumption to keep it going. I would be impressed. I'd order it just to see what I'd get in the box.
God.
I just want to. I'd honestly at least once only ever. But God, what a fun time this has been.
Yes, it has.
We've hit that out. We've hit a little over that hour mark. Elfie, you came super prepared. And Plague like
I was
Plague like always,
excited.
you didn't come with anything, which was awesome. I'm glad you.
I'm staying consistent.
No, I like Plague. I think you are the window to the audience because you sit
Yeah.
here like the audience, and you just go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, and I feel like that's what our audience is experiencing.
I was really excited when you were like, yeah, we'd like to have you on as our first guest. So I'm just like, oh, fuck.
Oh
my
shit, dude!
God.
Gotta get prepared.
See, I would have just did all the work for the stories and brought them to you and be like, do you want to talk about this one? But you came with stories. You came with a massive list, which was awesome. Yeah, I was super impressed when you came in flying in here with haymakers.
Yeah, I was just coming in like fucking Zangief, just fucking spinning around. It's like, look at this! Look at it!
I was super impressed.
I was really excited. I love talking about Florida because there's a lot of weirdness to it, but there's also a lot of really cool things about this state, so... A lot of people just get lost in the Florida man bullshit, but I promise there are some cool things. But there is a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit, but a lot of cool things. That's the best way to describe all of Earth.
There's a lot of bullshit, but a lot of cool things.
Exactly. Yeah, we got old Hitler.
But I'm going to leave you guys with one news story I'm going to share for next time, just to get you amped up about it. You ready for this one? This is just the title of it. So if you see anything about this, don't read, because I'm gonna cover this one. More than 400 found dead from Kenya doomsday cult.
Oh.
This is just another. Oh fuck! What was the Charles Manson cult? This is just another one of those.
Oh, I love a good doomsday cult.
400 in total found dead.
Oh man, this is gonna be.
400? That is how many died with the Charles Manson?
No, you're thinking of. Oh shit! What's his fucking Jonestown? You're thinking of Jonestown. Yeah. That's who you're thinking.
The Kool-Aid and the Nike shoes.
Not Kool-Aid. Powerade or some shit.
Oh yeah.
But authorities in Kenya have exhumed 12 bodies Monday, bringing the total number of deaths linked to this doomsday cult to over 400.
That's crazy. That's just crazy. I'm very interested to hear how this whole thing played out, or this cult plays out.
I'm so excited to bring this fun little thing here. Because
we need, and that's
so good.
I love talking about cults. Like I love hearing about cults and stuff like that.
It's so great.
It's wonderful. It's trying to not vomit.
Wonderful experience. Hey kids, hey small children at home. If you're ever feeling out of place, be sure to join an extremist death cult, and you'll amount to everything that you want to be in life.
Honestly, it's true. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching and joining our cult here at Otherworldly.
I was going to say, speaking of cult, hit that subscribe button.
Hit that to share the word.
Start our own cult, and we can all drink Kool-Aid together.
I don't want Kool-Aid.
Would you like a Pop-Tart?
No, I want only Dr. Pepper.
Okay, we can do Dr. Pepper. All right.
Dr. Pepper and Pop-Tarts, please.
Oh, if only somebody gets strangled after the Pop-Tarts, let me tell you what.
I'll do it for you. But, Plague, thank you, like always, for being my co-host. Elfie, thank you for being our first guest and most likely reoccurring guest.
Thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity. I was very excited.
Well, I was very excited to know that you wanted to help us and be an editor for us, because nobody comes running in and goes, let me be your editor. Nobody ever does that. Ever. Yeah. Nobody comes in and goes, please give me the hardest task. And I go, okay.
Having a lot of fun editing, I will say. And I feel like, though, I could make a compilation of you and Plague just both going, It'll just be,
Yeah, you can make a song out of it. You can make a funny little song of us, of all the little ums that you have taken from us, and then just
Otherworldly Thunderstruck.
Yeah, Otherworldly Thunderstruck.
Otherworldly
Umstruck.
Thank you, though. So much.
Of course.
Thank you so much, though, Elfie, for coming on to here and fucking carrying the horse's load for us on this one.
Well, again, thank you for having me, and I'll be glad to do it again.
For those who want to share their stories, whether supernatural, whether very real, and you do not mind having the story be told on the podcast here. We have down in the description our Gmail. Go and email us. I will read through it, share it on the podcast. If you don't want your name in there, just tell me, hey, this name is false. You just read this. I like to make sure we have permission to share your story, other than me just collecting a bunch of horrid personal stories from a bunch of strangers on the internet, which I still love. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to carry the burdens of man on my shoulders and within my mind.
He's collecting them like Pokemon.
So email us at otherworldlyquestions@gmail.com. Like always, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for listening to the truth, no matter how otherworldly it may seem. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, cult members.